Hey, what is going on everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at iOS 14.4 and we'll also take a quick look at iPadOS 14.4 as well. So these were just released like yesterday as I'm recording this video, along with a new HomePodOS, tvOS, watchOS, and we're still waiting on a new macOS, but I'm sure that'll come in the next few days or next week sometime. But iOS 14.4 is a pretty good size update with a lot of changes, new features, bug fixes, and all sorts of things. So we're going to go over everything new here in 14.4. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first off, you can now recognize smaller QR codes in the camera app. So in case you didn't know this, pretty handy little feature is in your camera, you can actually scan a QR code with your camera. You don't have to do anything other than put it in the viewfinder and a little notification will pop up to Safari and it'll take you straight to whatever that QR code will take you to. Now most QR codes are pretty good size, pretty large, easy to see, but there are some that are pretty small. I personally have never seen any of those, but if you encounter any of them, you should be able to recognize them no problem now with your iPhone's camera. Next thing here is a pretty nice new feature to do with Bluetooth devices. So now you have the option to classify Bluetooth devices for the right identification of headphones and things like that. So for example, AirPods are automatically going to be classified, that's no problem. But let's say you have something like a car stereo. So in my car, I have a aftermarket radio. So this is it right here. So if I tap on it, you can see up here at the top now we have device type. Now sometimes it automatically recognizes it correctly, but now if you go into it, you can see that you have different options for the type. So we have car stereo, headphone, hearing aid, speaker, and other. So if you specify which device it is, it can ensure that your headphone audio level measurements are going to be accurate. So pretty nice feature. You can classify your devices based on what they actually are now. Now another thing here to do with cameras, now this only applies to iPhone 12 models. Now Apple did this not too long ago with batteries. They would notify you if your battery was replaced and it was a non-genuine Apple battery. Well, now they're doing the same thing with camera modules. So if your iPhone 12 camera gets replaced and it's not a legit, genuine Apple camera, then you'll get a notification on your phone that it's not genuine. Now I'm not really sure why they are going to do that for cameras. I understand batteries, but it's a nice new thing to have here to let you know that your camera's not genuine. Now I don't know if that's going to pop up every single time you use your camera, but somebody will have to try it out and see, I guess. Now there's a few things that were not on the release notes, so we're going to talk about those real quick. So some people have been saying that anti-tracking features are now enabled, even though it still says it's not. So if you go into a new app, you might get a notification that says, ask this app not to track. I'm not sure, again, if it's enabled or not, but some people have been saying that it is. So let me know in the comments down below if anti-tracking is enabled on your phone. Next thing is the exposure notification. So with the current pandemic and everything, you can have the exposure notifications, of course, but now you can automatically notify others around you if you have been exposed to the COVID-19. So you have to have an app, obviously, that allows exposure notifications. And when you go into your settings, you can actually enable automatically notify. So it will know if yourself has been exposed or you tell it that you've been exposed. And if you go around somebody else and they have exposure notifications enabled, they'll get a notification that, hey, you've been exposed and you just went past them. So that's another new thing here with the exposure notifications. Let's talk about the HomePod Mini real quick. So I'm thinking about making another video just for that OS, but I'm not really sure yet. So I'll just give you the gist of it here in this video. So if you have a HomePod Mini, it has the U1 chip, of course. And the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12 also have a U1 chip. Now this is an iPhone 10, as you can see. So I don't have the U1 chip. So I can't really show you how these features work. But as long as you have 14.4 on your iPhone, it will allow you to update to 14.4 on your HomePod. And you now have more I guess, spatial recognition features using that U1 chip. So basically, the closer your phone gets to your HomePod mini, the more haptics and vibrations you'll get, and you'll even get like a little notification pop up that your HomePod mini is nearby, so you can easily hand off a phone call or music to your HomePod, and it's pretty cool. You know, if you're getting close to it, like I said, it vibrates more. So that's a much easier way to know that, hey, you're getting close to handoff. Do you want to do it or not? There's also going to be new animations when you do hand it off, and I also think there's stuff like personalized recommendations for your music and things, but you have to be in your HomePod's area or close to it. Now, for me personally, my HomePod is just right over there on my desk, so I'm not sure like how sensitive that new feature is going to be. I guess Apple is thinking that most people have their HomePod, I don't know, in the middle of a room or on a bookshelf or out of the way. But I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how sensitive that actually is, because I wouldn't want to be coming into my office, setting my phone down on the desk over here, and it thinks I want to transfer to my HomePod. So, interesting thing there with the new HomePod mini and a U1 chip enabled iPhone. And finally here, if you have the new AirPods Max, which I'm definitely not buying those, they're way too expensive, but if you have those, you now have the option to have Hey, you know who, on your AirPods Max. So AirPods Pro had that Hey feature, but now your AirPods Max do as well. So you could have your phone far away from it, you can go to another room or something, and you can use Siri on your AirPods Max with your voice. So that's pretty cool to see now. Okay, so let's talk about the bug fixes and issues that were resolved here in 14.4. So the first thing is image artifacts in HDR photos on your iPhone 12 Pro. So if you have a 12 Pro and you take an HDR photo and you zoom in on the photo, you may notice something that just doesn't look right. Little artifacts that happen in the image processing. So that should be resolved now. Next thing up here is the fitness widget. So if you have your widgets over here or on your home screen and you were using the fitness widget, there was an issue where it would not update your activity data. So of course you have an Apple Watch and you try to enclose those activity rings and you want to see your progress on your phone, well, it might not be updating in real time. And there were some other widgets that were having problems like that as well. So Apple has addressed those, and now they've addressed the fitness widget as well. So there was a problem with typing could be delayed, and your word suggestions might not appear on your keyboard properly. Also, if you're in an app that allows the typing suggestions, or if you have those turned on or off, of course, you can now see that all working properly. So that was a pretty big issue for people, that their keyboard was kind of lagging and things. So it's nice to see that fixed here in 14.4. Also, something to do with your keyboard. There was a problem in messages where it would not recognize correct languages or use the correct language. So if you were typing English and then you switch to Spanish, for example, it would not change over. So that should be resolved now as well. If you're subscribed to Apple News Plus, there was a problem with audio stories in CarPlay that were not resuming properly after being paused. So that should be fixed now as well. And then finally, there's an accessibility thing called switch control, and there was an issue that was preventing phone calls from not being answered on your lock screen. So if you use the switch control accessibility feature, that should be resolved now as well too. Now, there were some major security problems here in this update. They claim that they've patched 2 major vulnerabilities that were being actively exploited by hackers. So yeah, those are fixed now. There's not too terribly many details about those, but you can try to look on the Apple website under the release notes, and it kind of tells you a little bit about security updates. But yeah, those 2 major things have been resolved now apparently as well, along with some other minor bug fixes, security things that they didn't mention, of course, like every update. Now, real quickly, we can talk about the iPadOS. So it's not a ton of new things. It's just a few things that they also fixed on the iPad, the same as they did the phone. So that includes the smaller QR codes being recognized, the classification of Bluetooth devices in your settings, the delayed keyboard, and the autocorrect and word suggestions, and then also not having the correct keyboard language in messages. So that's all they said for iPadOS 14.4. But anyways, guys, that's it. That's everything new here in iOS 14.4 and iPadOS. So let me know in the comments below what do you think about this update. Let me know if you find anything I missed. And yeah, so pretty good update. Nice fixes, bug fixes, security updates. So yeah, very nice update here. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.